Welcome into Texans Today. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs. An instant reaction after the Texans' embarrassing 21-13 loss on Thursday Night Football, Halloween. I was all dressed up. I was going to do my post-game show in my outfit, but I thought, I can't do that. I can't do that. After this game, after this performance from the offensive line, the Texans had so many chances to win this game. 2 missed field goals, a fumble inside the 30-yard line. I mean, you can't win in the NFL with those kind of numbers. You just can't. You just can't. And you thought you could steal a win before Nico Collins got back. You thought you could put a nail in the coffin in the Jets season. But this Texans offensive line just proves that it cannot protect C.J. Stroud. He hit the ground so many times. I mean, pressured on more than half of his dropbacks. I believe 8 or 9 sacks on the day against C.J. Stroud. He was running for his life left and right. 11 of 30. I know you're going to see the stat line, 191 yards and no touchdowns, and say C.J. Stroud sucked. I'm here to tell you, if you're saying that, then you didn't watch a single second of this game. You didn't watch C.J. Stroud moving around in the pocket as best as he could every single down to avoid the rush. I mean, plain and simple, this offensive line needs some help. And then the MetLife turf strikes again with the injury to Will Anderson Jr. He left the game, ended up coming back, and then did not return into the second half, dealing with an ankle injury. The good news is he did come back into the game for a short stint. Left the game. He's definitely nursing that ankle injury. Not sure how long it's going to take for him to get back, but the good news on Will Anderson Jr. is it is believed that it's not really that serious or threatening. They didn't put him back into the game because they wanted to play it safe, especially when you're playing on a shitty field like MetLife, where players seem to get injured over and over and over and over again in the NFL. They should just tear that stadium down, in my opinion. There's another Texans injury along the offensive line in Kenyon Green. Left the game with a shoulder injury after getting hurt in the first quarter. I've been critical of Kenyon Green, but you never want to see a guy get injured. You never want to see somebody get out of the game like that. So prayers up to Kenyon Green. Hopefully Will Anderson Jr. will be good to go as well. Both these guys injured and left the game for Thursday Night Football up against the New York Jets. I'll keep you updated throughout the rest of the week with those injury updates as well here on the channel. So make sure you hit that sub button. Now, as we look closer into the numbers, you'd look at them and you go, oh, Texans outgained them, had more first downs. The third down percentage is Penalties, the Jets had more penalties, even though I did think there was a couple timely penalties that the Texans didn't go their way, calls, this and that, which a little overreaction during the game by me because you're going to get calls that go the other way and don't go in your favor. It's the Texans. The Texans beat the Texans today. And I want to ask this question for all of you. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with a YouTube ad break, perfect timing, scrolling down and let me know. How do you feel about this team after this game? Are you worried? Are you in panic mode? Are you like, holy crap, we cannot win in this league with this offensive line and this team? Let me know down in the comment section. Like I said, get hit with the YouTube ad break, perfect timing. Scroll on down and let me know your answer. I'm worried. I am worried. And if I'm Nick Caserio, I'm on the phones tonight. I'm on the phones tomorrow, the rest of this week up until the trade deadline, which, reminder, is on November 5th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I am making any call I can to improve the offensive line. Try to get possibly a Dylan Parham, an Andres Pete, and Andre James from the Las Vegas Raiders. Try to get maybe a Brandon Scherf from the Jaguars, even though they're in your division. You got to try something. You got to try to go maybe get Wyatt Teller or Joel Bitonio from the Cleveland Browns. I don't know what you got to do, but Nick Caserio needs to make something happen and get some offensive line help. Because what you have right now is not doing it. I'm sorry. Shaq Mason having maybe the worst career year of his Texans tenure. Juice Scruggs, kind of a rookie, kind of playing like it right now. Up and down with Juice Scruggs. It's kind of a roller coaster with him. Titus Howard, since getting that extension, has been injured, and this year, in my opinion, has been a little bit, underwhelming at the right tackle spot. And then you have Jeremy Chuggs on the left side. Kenyon Green got injured, and then Kendrick Green was like, okay. But, 11 of 31 with a quarterback like C.J. Stroud, who pregame, I was talking about how, in my opinion, a top 5 talented quarterback in the NFL, I mean, he was doing everything he could, I felt like. And yes, did CJ Stroud make every single throw, and was he perfect the whole game? No. But if you're under duress every single play and you're already without your top 2 targets in Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins, I don't know what else you really want this man to do. He's the franchise. He's the guy. I'm 1,010% behind CJ Stroud all the way CJ7 till I go down. But just with this offensive line, the weapons he has, it's like you're behind the 8 ball. And it's like every play you're like, oh, I hope CJ Stroud can make some miraculous throw and save us, because this offense looked putrid up against the New York Jets. We have some more breakdown here in just a moment, but I couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our amazing sponsors over at Prize Picks. Get started today with America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is somewhere where you can turn your football knowledge into some cold, hard cash. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and they got you covered. My listeners get a special $50 instantly when you play $5 when you use code CLNS. One more time, download the Prize Picks app and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And Prize Picks, it's not just football. You can also do basketball, hockey. They've got it all. This was my Prize Picks lineup for tonight. Jalen Green, at the last second, got 23 points. Mixon, as I mentioned earlier, was really good. He got more. That CJ Stroud, the 223.5 pass yards was what done me in. But I was really rooting for it to the very end, and it made the end of the game a little bit more fun for me because I got to use Prize Picks, my favorite daily fantasy sports app. So one more time, get started today. Use that code CLNS for $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. And as I just mentioned, Joe Mixon hit his Prize Picks projection in the first half. He looked fantastic, and the Texans really didn't run the ball that well in the second half. They didn't do a lot of the good things in the second half of this football game. Another game with over 100 rushing yards, though. A touchdown on the day for Joe Mixon. He continues to make things happen, even though this offensive line really doesn't do him a lot of favors in the backfield. I feel like half the time he's making guys miss in the backfield and getting 3 or 4 yards when he should lose like 2 or 3 yards. So Joe Mixon has been one of the brightest spots of this Texans offense this entire season. Tank Dell had a good game, 6 receptions, 126 yards, no touchdowns, a long of 50. He did drop one that was maybe a little bit high and outside for him, but I think overall Tank Dell had a really good game for this Texans team. Besides Tank Dell, it was kind of slim pickings. Robert Woods, 2 catches for 44 yards. Dalton Schultz, 3 for 21. I didn't see Cade Stover get involved that much. He got targeted a couple times, but it was incomplete. I think overall this offense is just sputtering with the offensive line. And people are calling out Bobby Slowick. People are, saying Bobby Slowick needs to be fired. Bobby Slowick this and that. I don't know what you can really do with Bobby Slowick because he's calling plays, but I know everybody will hound me for saying this, but I kind of liked the Wildcat Joe Mixon run and throw to CJ Stroud. It was so unexpected. Honestly, could have possibly been a hold there on Reed on CJ Stroud. I liked doing something different because you got to change things up with this offensive line. But I don't know how you even call plays with this O-line. I don't know how, because it seems like every single passing play, the defensive tackle's in the backfield in less than 2 seconds. So let me know down in the comment section. Grade the Houston Texans offense up against the New York Jets in this Thursday night football matchup. A, B, C, D, or F. You know how we do with the grading system. A is awesome. F, failure. Let me know your grade down below. I'm going to give it D+. D+. You had a 98-yard drive. You were able to move the ball. You missed 2, like I said, you missed 2 field goals. You fumbled the ball. D+. I can't give it a C. The Jets offense, on the other hand, the Texans defense I thought played amazing for half this game. You let a late touchdown by Davante Adams, an insane catch, maybe was a catch. I'm still in the boat where I didn't know if it was enough to get overturned because it looked like his shin and knee kind of hit at the same time simultaneously. I guess if you slow it down frame by frame, good catch by Garrett Wilson. Still an amazing grab by him, but I thought the Texans defense played well overall. Garrett Wilson had 9 catches for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both of his touchdowns were amazing one-handed grabs. So if you're having guys score like that where they're just having insane highlight plays, like this Texans defense played their ass off all night long. They were getting after Aaron Rodgers. He was 22 of 32, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. That last touchdown, though, where Jalen Petrie was on Davante Adams, I don't know what DeMeco was doing there. He had Derek Stingley on Mike Williams at the end of the game. That's really the only spot of this defense where it was really head-scratching to me why they made that decision in the final moments of this game. Breece Hall, I thought they were able to keep him in check for most of this game. I mean, he's a top 5, top 10 back in this league, one of the young stars of the NFL at the running back position. The Texans were able to kind of keep him contained for most of the game. I mean, 15 carries for 74 yards. He had a long as 16, so if you take that 16-yard rush out, 58 yards on 14 carries? Not too bad if you ask me around this Texans defense. Davante Adams, like I said, had that 1 touchdown at the end of the game, the long of 37, 7 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown. I think the Texans defense overall played a decent game. I mean, when you hold the team to 21 points, you're hoping that your offense can at least get around that number with a guy like C.J. Stroud. But once again, this offensive line needs changing. And I'm going to be talking about it all week long here on the channel, the latest Texans news and rumors as we get near the trade deadline. Nick Caserio, if you're watching, make something happen. Make a move. For the love of God, this offensive line is going to be the end of C.J. Stroud. You need to protect your star quarterback. You made moves in the offseason to make things happen, to get a wide receiver in Stephon Diggs. Now, do your best to make things happen to protect C.J. Stroud. I know a lot of people are talking about possibly trading for Tyreek Hill, possibly trading for T. Higgins, wide receivers. I don't care about wide receivers. I honestly don't. I think C.J. Stroud can make it work with the receivers we have on the roster. He just doesn't have any time to throw the dang ball. So please, for the love of God, get somebody to protect C.J. Stroud, or else we saw what happened tonight. He multiple plays, it looked like he got injured, was able to get back up, able to rub some dirt on it. But what happens when he can't rub some dirt on it? Then your season's over. So go out and get some help at the offensive line position. I am literally begging you. That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. Hit me up on social media at Jeremy Chuggs on X, Twitter, whatever you like to call it, 3.4K. Trying to get to 4K here very soon. IG, follow me at Texans Today CS, and on TikTok at Jeremy Chuggs. That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. Until next time, let's go Texans, and stay tuned as we get closer to the NFL trade deadline.